Have you ever wondered what true heroism looks like? Prepare to be amazed by an unlikely trio of animal friends who defied the odds to save a life. The meadow shimmered in the heat of late summer, the air heavy with the hum of cicadas and the slow drift of golden light across swaying fields of grass. It was the kind of afternoon where everything seemed perfectly at rest. Birds fluttered lazily between fence posts, and the gentle rustle of the wind in the trees carried a promise of peace. But peace shattered in an instant. A sharp bark, shrill, frantic, and trembling with urgency tore through the calm. From the middle of the pasture, a tiny puppy staggered forward, its muddy paws slipping in the dirt. Its fur, once pale and fluffy, clung damp against its sides, streaked with earth and grass stains. The little dog was panting hard, eyes wide, voice breaking as it yelped again and again into the still air. This was no ordinary bark. It was pleading, desperate, as though the creature had found something too terrible to face alone. The puppy, named Rusty by the farmer's children, toward the wooden stable at the edge of the field. Inside, half in shadow, a young foal lifted its chestnut head. The foal's name was Willow, barely a year old, and still uncertain of the world beyond the stable door. Its large, dark eyes blinked at the noisy commotion, ears flicking forward at every sharp sound. Rusty barked harder, running in circles, then skidding to a halt at the doorway. He pressed his tiny paws together, raising them toward Willow in a gesture so human-like it seemed impossible. His whine quivered like a cry for help. Willow hesitated, muscles tight. The foal had never been asked to do anything brave. But something in those desperate cries pierced through its hesitation. A flicker of understanding passed between the two unlikely companions. With a nervous snort, Willow stepped out from behind the wooden rails and into the warm light of the meadow. Rusty bounded forward, glancing back over his shoulder to make sure the foal followed. Step by cautious step, Willow obeyed. Together, the puppy and the young horse moved across the field, their shadows stretching long behind them. The meadow gave way to a narrow trail that slipped into the trees. The sunlight dimmed, and the air grew heavier, tinged with the smell of damp earth. Rusty barked once more, his voice sharper now, and darted ahead. Willow quickened her pace, heart pounding in her chest. At the edge of the trail lay a shallow pit filled with sticky, clinging mud. Rusty skidded to a halt beside it, barking furiously. His small body quivered with panic. Then Willow saw why. Half buried in the muck lay a tiny fawn. Its spotted coat was matted with mud, and its thin legs flailed weakly as it tried and failed to climb free. Each movement only dragged it deeper. Exhaustion weighed on its fragile body, and its small chest heaved with shallow, weakening breaths. Its eyes, glazed with fear and fatigue, flicked toward Rusty and Willow in silent desperation. Rusty circled the pit, barking, whining, even pawing at the edge, as though begging the foal to act. His eyes locked on Willow's, shining with a plea that words could never express. "Help me save her." Willow trembled, nostrils flaring as fear and instinct battled within her. She had never been so close to another wild creature, much less one trapped and flailing in such a frightening state. For a heartbeat she froze, unsure, her hooves shifting nervously in the dirt. But Rusty didn't give up. The puppy yelped again, his voice cracking with urgency. His tail wagged furiously, not in play, but in encouragement, as though urging Willow forward. Step by hesitant step, the foal lowered her long neck toward the trembling fawn. Her soft muzzle brushed against the mud, then found purchase on the loose skin at the back of the fawn's neck. The fawn kicked once feebly, but Willow held firm. With muscles straining, she pulled backward. The mud clung greedily, sucking at the fawn's legs with wet sucking sounds. It refused to let go. Rusty leaped into the pit without hesitation, his small paws scratching and digging at the edges of the muck. Soil flew as he worked furiously, widening the space around the fawn's legs. Mud caked his fur, but he didn't stop. Willow pulled again, hooves sliding in the dirt. The fawn sagged, its head lolling weakly. For a terrifying moment, it seemed the little deer would give up entirely, its body going limp. Rusty whimpered in despair, licking at the fawn's muddy face, pawing at its chest, as if begging it to hold on. Then he turned back to Willow with a sharp bark that rang like an order. "Try again." With a deep breath, Willow braced her legs and yanked harder. Her muscles burned, her body trembling with effort. At first the mud resisted, pulling back like a living thing. Then, with a sudden, sickening slurp, it gave way. The fawn slid free, collapsing onto the grass beside the pit. Its body shivered violently, sides heaving as it gasped for air. Willow stumbled back, exhausted but standing tall, her chest rising and falling with pride and relief. Rusty scrambled to the fawn's side, licking its face, whining softly as if to comfort it.
God.
Slowly, the little deer blinked, a flicker of life returning to its eyes. Moments later, heavy footsteps pounded across the ground. Mr. Carter, the farmer, burst onto the trail, having been drawn by the barks and commotion. Behind him came Dr. Evelyn, the local veterinarian, her leather satchel swinging at her side.
What on earth?
Mr. Carter's voice faltered as he took in the sight. His young foal, muddy and panting, standing protectively beside a trembling fawn. Rusty pressed tight against the deer's side, his tail wagging, despite his mud-caked fur. Dr. Evelyn knelt at once, her practiced hands moving gently. She wiped mud from the fawn's nostrils, checked its heartbeat, and pressed an ear to its chest. After a tense silence, she smiled softly. "She's alive," Evelyn whispered, relief flooding her voice. "Weak but alive. With rest, she'll recover." Rusty barked once, almost as if he understood. Willow lowered her head, brushing her nose softly against the fawn's ear. The farmer swallowed hard, his throat tight. His voice broke into a whisper, choked with awe. All this, because they refused to give up. As the sun dipped lower, painting the sky in hues of amber and rose, the three animals lay together in the tall grass. Rusty, curled close to the fawn, vigilant and protective. Willow stood nearby, proud but gentle, her dark eyes watching over them both. Dr. Evelyn packed her kit slowly, pausing once more to watch the extraordinary scene. She turned to the farmer, her smile touched with wonder. "Sometimes," she said softly, "the greatest healers aren't human at all." And on that quiet farm, under the fading light of summer, a tiny puppy's plea had brought about a miracle born not of strength or skill, but of faith, persistence, and the bond between the unlikeliest of friends.